Hi again everyone, Scargiver Pop Cult Fan here, and in this video, I want to give my thoughts on the new trailer that was released for Rebel Moon, which I mentioned in my previous video that Rebel Moon is this sort of project that Zack Snyder is working on for Netflix. Now, I've heard that there might be a limited theatrical release for this duology of films, and I would hope so. This movie looks amazing. It should not just be released for Netflix. So, my thoughts on this. All right. So, Rebel Moon, it was originally pitched to Disney as a Star Wars project, but Disney felt it was too adult, so they said no to Zack Snyder. And Zack Snyder went to Netflix and decided to create his own sci-fi epic original film. So this was originally pitched as Star Wars, but it's this new IP that Zack Snyder decided to do by himself and with Netflix. And I think what they showed off in the trailer, you could definitely tell that there's a little bit of influence, not just from Star Wars, but also sort of a fantasy element in there too, kind of like, say, Game of Thrones or Dune. So it's kind of like a mix of genres. These movies are, and it's. I thought it was really interesting. We saw this sort of similar to Star Wars. There's like this kind of like, I guess, empire, like an empire of sorts that are and a bunch of people in this rebellious group going up against this empire. So it is similar to Star Wars in that way. And there's also like these weapons that these characters use that look very similar to lightsabers. So there's that too. But like I was saying, it's a lot more mature, a lot more adult. You can really see that in the trailer. And I would show the trailer, but there's music used in it, so I'm not sure if I want to, because, who knows, might get copyright claims. But yeah, I think another. I didn't recognize too many of the actors, but Sophia Botella, she's like she's like the lead character in this movie, and I have seen her in a couple movies, and also I heard Anthony Hopkins, so he's in this movie, so that's really cool. And the release dates, like I believe the first part one, comes out at the end of this year. I believe December 22nd, and then the second part comes out in April next year. So, what was it? April 14th next year. So yeah, part one was God dang it. Okay, part two was the Scargiver. Part one was like a child. Oh man. Okay, whatever. I mean, I tried to remember the names, but I tried. But yeah, so part one, and then also another thing that was interesting is that this trailer was released at this video game event called Gamescom, and Zack Snyder said that he was going to develop a video game for these movies as well that takes place after these movies. So obviously he's doing his best to create a franchise here with Rebel Moon, and I think that's really interesting. If these movies do well, which I'm sure they will, he's probably going to keep this franchise going, and obviously there's going to be a lot of world building in these movies, and I'm sure it's going to be a lot to follow, because I remember when I saw Game of Thrones for the first time, or Dune, it can be hard to follow sometimes when you watch a project like this. and you're not familiar with it, you can get a little bit lost. So I'm hoping. I mean, I'm not sure how the story is gonna go, but we shall see. It's Zack Snyder, so he his movies are they can be very gritty, but also very scope and scale, like Man of Steel or the 300 or Batman vs Superman. So I imagine, it's gonna be like that. It's gonna be this really epic sci-fi fantasy film, like Dune. So we'll see how it goes. I'm really curious, and it it looks really good. Definitely, it's something that should be released in theaters. It should be released in theaters because it looks really good. And yeah, those are my thoughts on this. I think. I think that's everything in regards to my thoughts on Rebel Moon. Um, I'm curious, like if this had turned out to be Star Wars, I would not have minded seeing that. I would not have minded seeing a more adult Star Wars tale if this was Star Wars. And it's funny because this trailer was released the same day the Ahsoka episodes premiered. I know Zack Snyder didn't plan that, but it happened that way. It was a bit of a coincidence. So yeah, those are my thoughts. I'm really excited for these movies now, and I can't wait. All right, guys, I'll see you all in the next one. Uh, Before I end this, I would like to say that I might be seeing 2 movies in theaters today. Maybe Blue Beetle and also Talk to Me. So I might be doing movie reviews for those movies really soon. Blue Beetle and the Talk to Me horror film that was released a little while ago. So look forward to my reviews of those movies, and I'll catch you all next time. Peace.